In southern China, there is a mountainous region called Yunnan, which produces some of the most fascinating teas in the world, such as pu'er tea and the intriguing purple teas. Only now being discovered in the West, these teas have quickly become quite the rage, notably for their health properties and the helpful role they play in slimming and maintaining balanced body weight. Grown thousands of years ago by the various ethnic groups of Yunnan, these precious leaves quickly caught the emperor's notice and were transported all the way to Beijing and even as far as Hong Kong, Malaysia, and Tibet, which they reached after a horseback journey of several months. Over the centuries, an extraordinary culture developed around these rare leaves from Yunnan and other great teas of China. An amazing wealth of knowledge and know-how regarding every aspect, from harvesting the leaves and their various ways of processing them to the subtle art of brewing the tea. Taught daily in specialized schools and passed on from generation to generation, this know-how can be extremely refined to the extent that every gram of tea, second of brewing, or slightest variation in the water temperature can affect the character and richness of the flavor produced by the tea. Depending on your personal taste and the tea you are preparing, the brewing time may vary from 3 to 4 seconds to almost a minute. If you're unsure of what type of glass you have, and particularly on cold days, you may first want to heat the glass slightly by filling it with warm water. Find the ideal brewing temperature indicated on the package of your Yemaya tea. For pu'er green, pu'er black, or purple tea bonbon, it is best to use water at a full boil, whereas a slightly lower temperature is recommended for more delicate teas, such as white tea buds. But I recommend that you start with a fairly short brewing time. Then, simply toss the Yemaya bonbon into its tea bag and dip it into your glass of boiling water. Wait for a few seconds before gently turning the tea bag to help loosen the leaves, and then remove the tea. If you can, it is best to toss out this first brew, although you can drink it, if you wish. For even faster brewing, pour the boiling water directly over the tea bag. If you can, with your tea kettle, heat your water again briefly to make sure that it is still boiling. If you do not have a tea kettle handy, you can just as well use boiling water from a thermos. Now brew your tea again for a few seconds. A tea of quality expresses its flavor only in the mouth and slowly permeates the senses of the person savoring it. Breathing plays an important part in the circulation of the flavors. Slowly drink a sip of your tea. Do not hesitate to roll it around your mouth for a moment before swallowing. Then breathe it through your mouth and breathe out slowly through your nose to help the flavors spread throughout your entire body. Thanks to the excellent quality of tea leaves in the Yemaya bonbons, you can brew them several times. In doing so, you will discover how much these different brews have to offer. You will find that the flavors change and are transformed, revealing the various facets and characters of these teas. Above all, you will realize that you play an active part in this transformation. If you found the first brew a bit tasteless, try letting the tea brew a few seconds longer the next time. You should notice a change. If you find the brew too strong, on the other hand, use a slightly shorter brewing time for the next glass. Once the tea has been brewed several times, its flavor begins to gradually become less intense. So we recommend letting it brew a little longer. You can, of course, use any other recipient in place of a drinking glass, such as a teacup or mug, or even a small teapot. If you are serving tea for several friends, you can very well use a large teapot. The longer you must allow the tea to brew or obtain a rich liqueur. Nevertheless, a bit like the way espresso compares to a drip coffee, a Yemaya bonbon can indeed be used in any situation, but it will always have more character after a few seconds in a small amount of water then after several minutes in a large teapot. Other utensils specially designed for brewing tea, such as teapots with compartments or thermoses equipped with tea strainers, are very handy and are the perfect way to make tea on the road or at the office. Finally, since Yemaya teas are not just convenient, but are teas of excellent quality, they allow tea lovers who want to go a bit further to discover the joys of Kung Fu Cha, the traditional Chinese art of tea brewing. While this is a complex art demanding practice and perseverance, those interested can easily try their hand at it, thereby familiarizing themselves with origins of their Yemaya teas. You will be surprised to see that it is not so different from what we have just done with a glass of water. In Kung Fu Cha, or Guiwan, a sort of small bowl with a cover, a pitcher, and a teacup for each guest. One uses a small ceramic teapot. As we did with a glass of water, we begin by rinsing the tea and tossing out the first brew. This brew can be poured into the teacups in order to preheat them and infuse them with the flavor of the tea. After emptying the cups, you can have your guests smell the scent wafting up from them. After 1 or 2 quick rinses, the tea is ready to be savored. Brew it again for a slightly longer time than before. Pour it into a pitcher and offer a teacup to each of your guests. Then you need only repeat the process as many times as needed. Refill the teacups as they are emptied, and savor the richness contained inside these precious leaves.